overblown implications effect. We think people judge us by a single success or failure, but they don't. If you mess up one meal, no one thinks you're a bad chef. And if you have one great idea, no one thinks you're a genius. People just aren't thinking about you that much.
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, when I was a teenager, I used to suffer from anxiety. I used to, when I would enter a room, I would immediately feel like everybody was looking at me, and I would feel like my every micro movement of my body was being sort of analyzed. Like as if it was like literally like I was on a reality TV show or something. And it really was like almost paralyzing experience. And it took me a long time to really realize that, hang on a second, I'm just not that important. Like most people just do not give a fuck about me. And it was such a liberating feeling because it's true for a start, but also, it just helps you to realize, um, to basically take away, if you're focusing on what other people think about you, you won't really live your life how you want to live it. You won't have that sense of independence. You'll be completely dependent on what other people think or what you think other people think about you. But in reality, people just don't care. People are more worried about how they appear to you than about how you appear to them. Um, you know, like 10 years ago, if I was to go on this show, like you've got 750,000 subscribers, right? If I was here thinking about what 750,000 people are thinking about me, while I'm saying this stuff right now, I'd be paralyzed. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'd be here like stuttering, and I'd just be like, I wouldn't be able to say anything because my mind would be completely filled with the thoughts of 750,000 people thinking of me. The way I look at it is people are going to watch this episode. They'll probably take some good things from it, hopefully, if all goes to plan. But they won't really remember me much. They won't remember my mistakes that I said, whatever. If I said something wrong, they won't really remember it. They won't focus on it. They're not going to stalk me. I'm not attractive enough to be stalked. So I don't really need to worry about all of these things, I'm just basically...
Don't speak too soon, mate.
Yeah, well, I think it takes something quite drastic for that to happen. But I mean, generally speaking, I find that you just end up. Another thing is that you actually end up looking a lot better to other people if you don't care too much what they think of you. And this is not to say that you shouldn't. I'm not, into that whole, you shouldn't give a fuck and all that shit. I don't think that's really good. I think you should care what people think, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't be constantly focusing on what they think of you. You should just make an effort just to be relaxed and just to be yourself. Not because of, like you want people to, I mean, really, the main reason I think that you should try to be yourself is because if you try to be someone who's fake, then you have to essentially create that character, and you have to become that character. So it essentially is a prelude to audience capture. If you try to be someone you're not, if you're constantly focusing on how you appear to others, you'll stop being who you really are, and you'll begin to play to that audience, and you'll essentially be acting in the limelight of their gaze, and you will cease to be who you actually are, which is, I think, dangerous.
I spoke about this in a TEDx talk a couple of years ago, and I said that the persona is incapable of receiving love. It can only receive praise. And it was something I learned from Aubrey Marcus, that if you're only playing a role, then any compliments that you receive won't existentially connect with you inside, because it doesn't feel like someone's complimenting you. They're just complimenting this projection of what you thought they wanted, which is, I don't know. I mean, sure, if you do a shadow puppet that's really good, fantastic, well done, look at what you created. But it's not the same as someone saying you as an individual, this very natural, unencumbered projection of your very essence that you've brought forward into the world, combining all of your predispositions and genetics with life experiences and traumas. That is worthy of love and acceptance and praise and all the rest of it. Like, that's so fulfilling. And it was one of the things that I really noticed transitioning from an industry where I did have to be more performative, oddly had to be more performative as a guy stood on the front door of a nightclub than a guy that talks on a podcast. I found that I would do and say things that were incongruous with who I really was, even though I wasn't necessarily doing the self-assessment to realize it. It's only in retrospect that I got to work out that I was playing this role. But someone would ask me my opinion, and I would think, okay, what does Gurwinder want to hear from me at this moment? What should I say in order to engender the most positive response that I can get from him? And it was fucking crippling. Like it was absolutely crippling, because I'm permanently playing this meta me game. I'm always having to be 1 degree of separation removed. I don't actually have an opinion. I don't actually hold any truths myself. What I hold are various avatars that all need to exist in my mind at one time, because the you that I am, the me that I am for you, and the me that I am for my housemate, and the me that I am for my mum, and the me that I am for all of the other people in my life, all need to be very carefully held and remembered. And what did I say to him last time? What was my opinion about that? Did I think it was going to be Tommy Fury or Jake Paul that was going to win? And like all of that. It's computationally, it's basically impossible.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's a quote that's been attributed to Mark Twain. I don't know if he actually said it, but it's attributed to him, and it's something like, "If you tell the truth, then you don't need to remember anything."
Yep.
And I think that really saves you a lot of energy. You know, if you are just who you really are, and you just are relaxed and just say what you really think, and you don't try to put on a front, it just saves so much energy in interactions. You know, I used to be exhausted in interactions, social interactions, because I was constantly acting. I was constantly trying to impress, or I was constantly trying to be the person that I thought people expected me to be. And it, like you said, you know, it's just this constant sort of computational sort of power, like just being, you know, your brain is being fried by all this, you know, circuitry firing off. And it's just not good, because you end up not being who you really are, and you end up taxing yourself. You end up sort of exhausting yourself to be someone who you're not. And at the end of it all, people probably don't even fucking remember. So
yes,
you know,
after all of that, and they didn't even fucking care. Yes,
it's something that exists only in your head.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full unedited episode, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.